My name is Faith Eileen, blogger at faithytales.com. This is my very first video blog, so welcome. In case you're new to Faithy Tales, I would like to tell you how the name came about. My name is Faith and my middle name is Eileen. And so growing up, I somehow became Faithy, which was a name that I really hated. But I was also a very dramatic person, and I still am today. But when I would share a story, I would get so excited in the telling that I would use big words and hand gestures, and this became known to my family as Faithy Tales. They were insinuating that my story was not 100% true and that I was elaborating. And this used to bother me so much. If my dad or mom or any of my siblings, cousins, you name it, said Faithy Tales, that was it. My temper flared. When I decided to start a blog while I was writing my book, Learning to Love the Woman in the Mirror, I decided that I wanted to use something that used to hurt me so much and use it for God's glory. So I've taken that old name, Faithy Tales, and now I'm using it as a truthful telling of stories of faith to inspire you and to help you know that God loves you, to help you live life loved. This week's episode is entitled, Is He Pleased with Me? Ladies, do you ever ask yourself that question, is God pleased with me? Well, this week, as I was driving to work, I was having a conversation with a very dear friend. We were joking around and having fun and laughing, and all of a sudden the conversation got quite personal. And she said, Faith, I have to ask you a question. Hi ladies, I'm back. I was in the middle of the boat dock and a truck really wanted to get his boat out of the water, so I had to move, and I guess you could say hashtag blogging and the great outdoor problems. So anyway, I'm back and I wanted to continue to share my story. So as I was driving to work this past week, I was having a phone conversation with a very dear friend, and we were joking and carrying on and having a great time. It was probably one of the best conversations that we'd ever had, and it quickly turned quite serious when she said, Faith, I'm going to ask you a question. And I said, okay. And she said, no, I'm going to ask you a question and you have to answer it truthfully. And I said, okay, shoot. And she said, Faith, do you believe that God is pleased with you? And boy, I was thrown for a loop. I thought, wow, does she not believe that my life says what I feel about God? Then my next thought was, wait a minute, did my book not address that subject? And I quickly reined in my thoughts. And I answered her, I said, yes, I know for a fact that God is pleased with me. And then she asked me another question, and this question, I mean, ladies, it threw me even further for a loop. I was flabbergasted. My mouth was hanging wide open, and I'm like, oh my goodness, how do I answer this question? And so I was like, read my book. And she replied back, I knew you were going to say that. That is not an answer. I told you you had to give me an answer, and it can't be. Read my book. So after we were done with our drama, I began to seriously think of how to reply to her in an honest way, of what God has taught me. And as I'm trying to come up with the words to say, she asked me another question. She said, okay, if you can't answer that one, answer me this. She said, Faith, do you know for a fact that God is pleased with you? Or is it a feeling that you have? And so, ladies, I want to bring that question. I would like to address it here today. Do you ever struggle with that? Do you ever wonder, is God pleased with you? Well, for one, let me tell you, we are daughters of the King of Kings. He's not an earthly father, and he doesn't measure us by the earth's standards. His standards are perfect. His ways are perfect. His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. So let me assure you, he's not up in heaven, sitting on his throne with an apparatus or a spreadsheet or anything else telling all of the things that we've done wrong on one side versus all of our accomplishments so that he can decide how he feels about us at any given time. That's not the way he does it. Romans 5:8 says that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. You see, ladies, he didn't wait for us to get our acts together. He didn't wait for us to put on our makeup or have the right attitude or the right atmosphere, to have the right job or be the right type of mom. He died for us when we were in the trenches, when we were dirty, when we were sick, when we were without hope. Christ died for us. Does that sound like someone that's weighing our bad versus our good? Not to me. Ephesians 2:9 tells us that salvation is not a reward for the good things we have done, so that none of us can boast about it. So take a deep breath. Stop striving to earn God's grace. It can't be earned. There are not enough things in this world that you can possibly do to deserve His grace. And stop striving for His acceptance. You already have it because you belong to Him. Psalm 147:10 and 11 says that He takes no pleasure in the strength of a horse or in human might. No, the Lord's delight is in those who fear Him, those who put their hope in His unfailing love. You see, if you put your hope in His unfailing love, you are a daughter of the King. And let me read you some even better news. Zephaniah 3:17 says, with His love He will calm all your fears. He will rejoice over you with joyful songs. Ladies, our God takes delight in us. He sings over us with joyful songs just like a loving parent delights in their children. We have nothing to fear. Bye for now. See you soon.